This North London derby was billed by me, maybe a few others, as being the biggest North London derby in living memory. Tottenham fighting really above their weight class this season, pushing, little sneaky title race was there at Christmas time, but sneaking into the top four, top five, and really pushing the boat out under Ange Postecoglou's first season, hosting title wannabes, title contenders, Arsenal, in a game that was definitely going to decide where the Premier League title does end up going. Liverpool on the Saturday dropped the points, and it really did put all the focus, all the attention on Arsenal. Could they steal the march over Liverpool? Could they keep control of the title race? And ultimately, the game did finish in a 3-2 win to Arsenal, which, score predictions, we managed to nail that one this weekend. But Arsenal, for me, really weren't much better overall than Tottenham. Now, I think the big difference in this game is really man for man, the quality. Arsenal versus Tottenham was the difference here, because as soon as the team sheets came out, it would have definitely lifted spirits in the Arsenal changing room. Seeing Bentancur and Højbjerg coming into midfield, the first thing that I can say is Ange Ball was not going to be happening in this game here, and maybe Ange had taken a leaf out of the book of lessons from the Newcastle game recently, where he was unapologetically just going Ange Ball the whole game and ended up being a bit of chaos. Doing that against Arsenal might have put a bit more egg on the face. So it seemed like this starting 11 was a bit more conservative and was going to give Arsenal a few more yards on the pitch. And they took those yards and they came flying out the traps. And for me, really, that is the difference in the game. And in the video today, we're going to break down the game, exactly where it was, won and lost, what went right and wrong for both teams as much as possible. At any point in the video today, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers before the end of the season, and we cannot do that without your support. Get into the comment section on this one and let me know what your big takeaway was from the North London derby. Who are the winners and losers? Should Tottenham be down on their luck? Should they be feeling bad about themselves? Should Arsenal be so overconfident maybe now after this game? And yeah, let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, the number one reason I'm not too quick to, lavish Arsenal with an abundance of praise in this game is because Tottenham are severely handicapped in this team here. Having Ben Davies in at left back against Saka just doesn't feel fair overall, and I think we've seen over the course of the game that Ben Davies was on toast for the entire match, and God love his God bless his cotton socks and all that, but it just was not his day. Adding into the mix of that Højbjerg and Bentancur, who are very pedestrian, quite deep players as well. The only avenues Tottenham really have to get up and down the pitch is Pedro Porro here out on the right-hand side and James Maddison popping up into little spaces and trying to knit the game together. Now, the front three, I think, surprised a few people when it came out. It was going to be Son, Werner and Kulusevski. I think some people maybe thought Richarlison could have started this game, Son out left, maybe Brennan Johnson would have retained his place on the right, perhaps. But I actually thought, look, Kulusevski for me is probably one of the most underrated players in the Premier League, and you even seen the best things of Tottenham in this game was him getting into these spaces next to Maddison, using his power and his pace to get through the lines, try and carry the ball up the pitch and play, somebody else in for any of the opportunities that Tottenham did create here. But that is all they really had going on. Werner obviously went off injured quite early in the first half for Brennan Johnson. But Arsenal are at absolute full strength here. Benny Blanco, now... I'm not a big fan of this guy, but see, as soon as I heard somebody calling him that.
We haven't formally introduced, my name is Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Benny Blanco from the Bronx?
Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Okay, Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
I thought I'm going to drop the Tiwi moniker that I gave him on this tactics board and we'll go with Blanco. But, from him on the right-hand side here, going up and down the line, Tomiyasu, didn't really get too high, but as that defensive kind of left back, he did a great job alongside Gab Mag and Saliba. Then just gets you Odegaard, that just then gets you Rice going all over the place, along with Havertz, just crowding out, doubling up into different positions and really causing Tottenham a whole world of pain. Now, Arsenal get 3 goals in the first half, right? The Saka goal, brilliant, right? But outside of that, we've got 2 set pieces really going against Tottenham here overall, and that's where I feel that Tottenham do have some solace to take out of this game, because as much as Arsenal did dominate the match in a lot of respects on the eye test, and we do not refute that, when we look at the statistics across the game here, Tottenham, 62% possession, both teams only created 3 big chances each. Tottenham with 15 shots, Arsenal with 9, 8 corners to 6. These things aren't, going to save the day. They didn't get anything on the day. No points were gotten from this. But I do think that Tottenham, considering how anti-Ange Ball this was until really halfway through the second half, Arsenal really deserved their 3-0 lead. Tottenham really didn't have anything in this game. And they were really a team of 2 halves. It was like an attacking half and a defensive half. And Maddison was asked to do so much work to try and connect the two. And he just was not capable. Rice, Partey, Odegaard, like the midfield was just so under Arsenal control. And even when they did go on an attack, like you never felt they were that overexposed on the counter-attack. Like Arsenal, man for man, were way better, right? But what gets Tottenham back into this game is a moment of complete and utter Ange Ball. Now, with this midfield of Bentancur and Højbjerg, like the midfield transitions have not been happening. The pace of the Tottenham team has just not been conducive for the way the team has been built up and been playing all year. But just as these guys are getting subbed off, well, Bentancur for Sarr was at half-time, but just as we see the subs where we get Maddison for Richarlison and Højbjerg for Bissouma, Arsenal have the ball. And for the first time in the game, like we see normally with the fullbacks and people are all gushing about the inverted fullbacks getting into the box or whatever, we see a player recognise the situation and in true Ange Ball style becomes the player the team is required. Romero just goes up the pitch and just acts like the second striker. Raya is just so used to there not being any additional Tottenham pressure from like another part of the pitch. It's not the front three. He just looks to skip out the front man and it just falls straight to Romero. And World Cup winner mentality, in Ange Postecoglou's own words, he gets Tottenham back into the game to make it 3-1. And at this point here, you really do feel the Tottenham team just is balanced again and is playing the sort of football that we've seen with them all season. The energy that Bissouma and Sarr put into the midfield is night and day on what we see in the first half. And what Kulusevski gives you in this link-up role here that Maddison doesn't is brute strength and the ability to go past people with will. You know, Maddison's very technical, has a lot of guile and flair and all that good stuff. And yeah, he can go by people. He's not a weakling or anything like that. But Kulusevski is just a different breed altogether. And against the likes of Rice and Partey, when it is crowded, you need a guy like that can bust out the doors and get the attack up the pitch. Now, ultimately, it was too little too late for Tottenham. The 3-goal advantage Arsenal got in the first half was unassailable. We get the penalty in the 87th minute, and it is nail-biting stuff for Arsenal towards the end. But ultimately, as I say, I don't think that Arsenal completely ran over Tottenham in this one. I don't think Tottenham should be going away feeling too bad about themselves overall, considering really how the game panned out, who was involved in it. And ultimately, there wasn't really much that separated them in the end. If Tottenham defended a little bit better at one of the corners, for example, then this does finish a 2-each draw. And when you throw into the mixture, Ben Davies played at left back, and then he was later replaced by Lo Celso. Arsenal are flying, 10 out of 10, top of the world right now, fully in form, fitness, everything's going for them. They're going for the title, momentum, everything is in their favour at the moment. And Tottenham really don't have that much going for them other than having a good campaign under their belt to this point here. So I'm not sure there's much of a moral victory to be taken for Tottenham out of this one, but if I was a Tottenham fan, I definitely wouldn't feel too bad after it was all said and done from this one. Like, what you've seen from Romero and even Richarlison, like Richarlison, as soon as he comes on and he busts past Gabriel Magalhaes, like, you know, I do feel Tottenham did put themselves about well enough in this derby match, but they will be scoring this one on the scorecard and looking to get even with Arsenal next year, perhaps, because Arsenal really did just out-quality them in this one. And, you know, we'll see if where the title goes in the end. And if Arsenal do go on to win it, then I'm sure we're going to hear from the Gunners, the Gunner fans, all about it, about how it was won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because this is a huge 3 points. It puts them top, keeps the pressure on Manchester City, and really disconnects them from Liverpool. Now, Tottenham are still in 5th, do have 60 points on the board, do have a game in hand on really anyone else around them, which will come this midweek against Chelsea, which, you know, let's see how that goes. It should be fun to watch, I'm sure. But really, if you look at the fixtures and the way everything's lined out, Tottenham are in a really tricky position right now. Man United and Newcastle have eyes on that position, and both of them will feel with their fixtures versus Tottenham's fixtures, there's a fair chance that they might be able to bridge the point gap between now and the end of the season. Every game for Tottenham now is a cup final, is a must-win. Failing again the Champions League positions now after the season Tottenham had, it wouldn't feel like a failure, but it would definitely feel like, you know, they didn't actually get over the line and have a successful year. It was more, you'll hear then it was a progression season and, you know, silver linings and all that good stuff. And it doesn't work that way, and I don't think anyone can if you want to ultimately strive for the top and for success. Tottenham absolutely should be putting everything into nailing in that 5th position, and it starts midweek against Chelsea, who, against Aston Villa, in my opinion, were very, very lucky. And it really will depend on what sort of Tottenham team we see turning up, because no Enzo Fernandez and a few other bits and pieces, we won't get into Chelsea on this video, but, you know, this could be a good 3 points for Tottenham to get in a midweek and really try and solidify that 5th position in the table. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. On screen there now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more content like this, and get into the comment section and let me know what your big takeaway was from the game. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one.